And we are back. Episode 3 of Tangy Talks. And this time we are live on LinkedIn. So, LinkedIn, if you're out there, let us know where you're from, where you're watching from. I think we have like 3 viewers now. So, maybe they'll ask some questions, Victor,
We're
but we're
moving
getting
up, man.
there.
We're moving up from 1, so now we're at 3. So
Hey, we
we
keep
are all
doubling.
set.
Who knows where we'll be?
There
But
you go.
make sure we're live. We're answering questions, but we're going to be going over a couple of topics today. But before we jump in, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, and we've been focusing on taking the next step in our company and really focused on training and doing a lot of things with our team. It was really exciting. I mean, what do you think about some of these trainings that we went through?
They've been eye-opening. They've set us up for the year. I think it's perfect timing to do that too, as well. Setting us up for 2024 and getting our goals in place, 1-year goals or 3-year goals, aligning them and making sure everything is all set. And then the training with the team, it's crucial. We want to make sure, especially in the thick of high season, that we have all the tools and we're all set, right?
Yeah, and look, we set a goal, and we'll put it out there to the universe now. We want to get to 100 properties, 100 keys by the end of the year,
There you
which means
go.
we double in size. So if you're out there and want to work with us, we're ready to work with you. We're excited for some of the things we got going on. We
Let
have
the
some
universe hear.
other unique things coming up that are not just vacation rental that maybe we can talk about on our next episode. But let's jump into it because we have some fun stuff to talk about. Um, one of them, it was been some big news on some other shows. I've seen the headlines come around is that Marriott, the biggest hotel company in the world, is getting more and more into the vacation rental world. Now, they've always been with Marriott Homes and Villas, but that wasn't their actual properties, at least not all of them. It was a lot of like our properties, some of our competitors' properties that get a Marriott stamp and they can use the points. But now they're getting into apartments. And so I'm curious to see what you think of this, Victor. Let's put up a picture as you talk about it. Here's the image of what
Beautiful.
the Marriott rendering will look like. What do you
It's
think of that?
beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, it's exciting. I started my career working with Marriott. I know you worked with Marriott sometime also, so they've come a long way. I mean, it's a amazing brand, and it's exciting to see that they're taking a step into our world, our short-term vacation world. So the properties look beautiful. The locations they have set to build in are going to be very interesting, and I'm excited to see. We are also going to be launching our channel booking through Marriott that they've had in beta test mode for some time. So we're excited to see that and see how it rolls. We've heard good feedback from Marriott booking channels for vacation rentals. So we're excited. They have a lot of stuff planned for us.
Yeah, what I see with this is like this is their first ever like
Right.
launch of their own apartment. And so
Right.
it just shows like this isn't going anywhere. This is how
Mhm.
people really want to travel. This is how they want to have their lifestyle. It's not just in a hotel room anymore. People are looking for this apartment style place. And where they're going to start testing this is they said the first property open in kind of San Juan, Puerto Rico, but really the first ones that look like this are going to be in Detroit and in St. Louis. And so those 2 cities will be the first ones to get them. And I'm curious to see how they do because there's so many competitors. Like we see like a Sonder, right? They got into the apartment complex game, lease out the whole apartment, rent it out like a hotel. Now the hotel is building an apartment to compete. So I guess they've seen that people like this. And we have some friends in other companies that are doing something similar. They got to raise the game up because now you got the big boy coming in
Oh
with
yeah.
hotel standards, the hotel booking engine, um,
Marriott points. They have
Marriott
all.
points.
They have it all. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm also looking at these other 2 locations in that they've actually just signed to Saudi Arabia and Italy. So those are 2 fresh markets that are really growing markets, especially in Saudi Arabia. So it's interesting. It's exciting to see and love to hear and learn more about it.
Yeah, because in Detroit, they're gonna have 92 units, so it's
Right.
92 apartments. They're gonna have a fitness center, restaurant access, and they're saying it's gonna open in the third quarter of 2024. So, let's see how it's gonna look around in the fall. And in St. Louis, it's 50-unit property, and it's co-located with a hotel. So they're using their Sheraton hotel to team up with this apartment. So you could stay in the
Very
hotel
cool.
side over at the Sheraton, or you come over here. But for us, like, I think a lot of people are nervous. because like, oh, it's, we're going to get put out of business. I
Right.
think maybe Marriott might buy some of those places and say, hey, we'll just buy you. And now you're Marriott branded if they're done the right way. I mean, but how do you feel? Like for our company, I'm not too worried about it because we have a lot more like single family
Single family
property
homes.
homes.
Right.
We
Right.
do have some multifamily that, yeah, I could see where that's going to have to raise our game up. What are you thinking when you see that?
Yeah, we're really, I think it goes into a lot of what we talked about in our last episode, of having that niche or the niche market and having that, experience that basically, it puts you out or puts you over or key centers you into what you're doing and to what difference, you're doing versus Marriott. So we still think that the experience and that uniqueness will really outshine. So hopefully, with Marriott, you could stand out and be a differentiator. And I think you'll be able to endure.
Now, on the flip side, we both worked in hotels.
Right.
I have my opinion on this, but what advice would you give Marriott going into vacation rentals and apartments? Because it's two different kind of setups. What would you comes first thing to mind? Like when you think about like, here's the advice I'm going to give a hotel company that they think they know everything.
Right. Immediately is make sure that you have the systems in place to operate in all of these different booking channels. I know they're going to be depending a lot of on their direct booking, which I'm sure they'll get. But if they are going to be using these external booking channels, is having that system set up because if you don't, we've seen it, and you could tell that it's a lot of things ongoing. You don't want to be double booking. You want to make sure the rates are in the right place and the right booking channel. So making sure that you have the right heart, the right operating system, and everything in place to see those bookings come in and make sure everything is in accordance.
Yeah. I think mine rough top, if I was in someone from Marriott was asking us, I'd say they use the rooms differently than hotel rooms, right? Like
Right.
hotel rooms, you're in there. It's not usually a place you're hanging out the whole time. You're going exploring the city and doing things. Like this is a place you're going to be in a lot more. You're cooking. You want to do your own cleaning. You want to
Right.
do your own laundry. So you got to provide those supplies and really think about that differently because
Great
yeah,
point.
there's hotels that have presidential suites that have like a place to cook, but those people aren't cooking for themselves. Usually it's like a
Mhm.
staff or a private chef doing those things. Like
Our cooking genie.
yeah, they need the right tools for cooking. They wanna have the pots and pans. They wanna have
Exactly.
everything set up. I recently stayed at a hotel that's set up that way, like an apartment,
Right.
and the stuff was rusted. I wanted to cook something, I couldn't cook there, and that was really why we booked it. So, Marriott, think about those things as you get into it, and I'm sure they're getting a lot of data from doing the Marriott Homes and Villas and seeing what other operators do, right? So, they're probably, like, looking at our stuff as we applied and seeing how we do certain
Yeah.
things, and but
So
I'm actually excited because I think more and more hotels will get into it, and I think it will differentiate and really upgrade the whole industry to
there you
be,
go.
like, much better. Because there's certain places like you and I go, like, what do we always say? Like, "Who would stay here?"
Your mom, right? Would our
Yeah, well,
mom stay here? Would our mother stay here? And that's our basically our key focus to make sure that she'll enjoy the place and she'll love it there. So that's our quote. We've been using that one.
I think we gotta get some swag. It'll be Tangy, "Would your mom stay here?" or "Your mom would love to stay here," something like that. We need our
There you
marketing team to work on it. So marketing team, clip this, and we're gonna get some swag
there you go.
for
There
our
you go.
team.
And I have a
Alright.
question for you,
Yeah,
Steve.
sure.
Speaking along with Marriott, if let's say like if you're Marriott and you are looking into these specific markets, are you looking for something like local? Or are you looking, when you're in the development stage, are you looking something to attract them locally, or you're just trying to, stay on brand? If you were
Ooh,
Marriott,
yeah, it's a great question. I think what I would be looking for are big cities that we're currently in, and
right?
maybe like I like that they teamed up with a Sheraton hotel, so you have like a home base for
Right.
operations too, to kind of be able to take care of it. And we've seen it kind of with Yotel, right?
Right.
Yotel has their hotel, then they built their Yotel pad
That's
together, and the pads are doing very well. They're very nice, and they've got nice furniture, and it's a great location. The one here in
right.
Miami, and some of our friends operate in there, and we're looking at that as well. So if I'm Marriott, I'm looking at popular cities where you have these digital nomads now because people can work from anywhere, right? Like we have remote people on our team, and they could work from this place for a couple weeks and go to the next one. And
Exactly.
what I would love to see is some kind of membership, like where you could pay a flat rate and be able to go to, all right, I'm going to be in Miami this week, then I'm going to St. Louis, then I'm going here, and be able to have your apartment that you're used to would be pretty cool.
That'll be amazing. Yeah. So strong Wi-Fi for sure.
That's the big one. You need strong Wi-Fi and supplies. People want to be cooking, cleaning, doing their thing in there. But that was a great question. So
I
Marriott, if
I
you
love
need some
that point.
advice, Victor and I are here for you. Um,
I love it.
but look at, we talk about, we manage properties, right? So like
Right.
our business model is we've been asset light the whole time, similar to Marriott, right? We manage the properties. We don't own the properties. We've been looking at dabbling in that, but we've had a lot of people starting to come our way, right? We've seen a lot of people that signed up with companies because they were the cheapest, or they got sold pretty well with all these fancy marketing techniques and joined companies, and now they're coming to us and be like, man, it just was not what I expected, and I have no transparency. I have no idea how many bookings we have. I don't know what I'm going to make every month. They won't take any of my feedback, and it's lucky for us, we've been picking
Yeah.
up properties. And
Yeah.
so I think we should give the listeners, and if you're a property owner or if you're looking to be a property manager in short-term rental, vacation rental, I think this property is actually good because we sold them a year ago and they said we were too expensive. And
Right.
now we signed them because they've come back over and seen that we are the right way to do certain things. So what were
Right.
some things they told you during that process of why they came over to us
Yeah.
after?
Yeah, I mean, you spoke on it there. Big thing is what now owners are looking for is that transparency. That good communication between owner and operating company or management company. So that seamless transparency and communication is a big deal to the owner. We sometimes think and get wrapped up into our operations, ensuring that things are getting done, things are properties are clean, we have all of our supplies and things of that nature, but we sometimes forget about the owners, the people who entrusted us, right? And gave us their keys. And I always think that's a huge deal. Somebody giving you their keys for an investment property that could have been their life savings, could have been their family home, etc. So it's a big deal. This one in particular that we're speaking about came to us with those two problems. And the way that we've been able to offset those, and what we keep hearing from other clients that have been working with us that come from other management companies, is the transparency and the tools that we have to show that transparency. One, being the owners portal where the owners can see the calendar live, see how many guests they're booking, what the total of the payout is, what the occupancy rate, ADR, and such is. They could even block their property if they want to use it themselves. So they like that flexibility and ability to just turn on a button and see everything live. We have a reporting system that gets sent out to the owners every week that shows them all of the future bookings. And then we have, with our software Breezeway, we have a great reporting system that we send out to them every month. Basically, at the end of the month, we'll say, hey, owner, here's everything that happened throughout your property. Here's the photos and the checklist from our checkout. Here are the photos and checklists from our inspections. Did we have any maintenance issues at the property? Here's what the maintenance issue was and what we did to close it, or what we did to repair that issue. And that transparency is basically taking us a long way. And the owners is one of the key things that the owners love about us. And then the communication, having those open lines, but setting those boundaries with the owners as well, because we know that's important. We all have our personal life, etc. But ensuring that they know, what, when they can, who they can contact for certain problems, when they can contact you. We have that submittal form that you helped us create, that the owners can go in, almost like a support chat, or the support submittal form. Basically, they could go in, submit whatever questions they have specific to what the problem is, and send those in, and it goes to the right department. Right. So that's a big takeaway that we've seen work.
Yeah, I've been shocked when we talk to some of these people. I was like, you have no view of what's going on, and these are like not small companies that they're joining. These are big companies, and they don't have a view of any of this stuff. So I'm excited that we can help that way.
Yeah.
But they're facing a lot of challenges too, not just on like reporting. It's also, you know, what their property looks like. Is it damaged? They're not getting any reports, and so some of these property owners that come over to us go into the home and the place is a disaster because some of these other companies aren't actually going into the property and inspecting it. They're just using outsourced housekeepers that are coming in, checking off that they cleaned it and never actually looking at it.
Reporting it. Yep.
Right. And so there's so many dings and dents and scrapes and, scratches on furniture that we end up seeing that we take care of with our team because people are traveling. They're not using it like their home, right?
Exactly.
They're using it
Exactly.
for a place to crash. And again, it goes back to what we were just telling Marriott before. People use these apartments different than they use a hotel room or their own home. Maybe some
Yeah.
people treat their home that way,
Well,
but
they're spending a lot more time, I think, in the property, than they would at in a hotel room. So uh, you're going to see that wear and tear. With this specific client that we're talking about, right before the transition, that we signed the agreement and we moved forward with the with our services with them. We went to the property and our team, FaceTime them, during the onboarding phase to show them, walk the property to ensure that everything is there, to do an inventory and to look at the property. And to your point, there was a couple of things that was caught to them by surprise, that we felt their frustration. So we saw that, and we want to make sure that we're being able to service them and to not commit those same errors and put things in place.
yeah, the other thing I think is unique that we do is that we actually give you your account back. So we set up individual accounts, which is much harder to run and operate.
Oh yeah.
Take the time to do it. So, right, an example for if you're starting out there is we'll create the Airbnb account with you, and if for any reason you want to leave, what do?
I would give that account back to you. That's your account that you can, book other Airbnbs from, that you can, continue hosting it yourself. Or, if you think along the lines, you want to try out a different management company, that becomes yours. That's where all of your reviews and all of the hard work, in your face, the owner's face is being the person, that is the host and the person that is showing as responsible for your stay. So we want to give that back to the owners and have them keep that and have that account, to them, because it's really important.
Yeah, we're trying to take over another property now where they have zero access to it and they have to start from scratch, which will help them build it up and get back to being a guest favorite. Because hey, we've got a bunch of our homes became guest favorites on Airbnb, and there's
There you go.
only I think it's like only 2 million around the world that have those stamps on them. So we've
Good
got
deal.
several of them. So we'll get there again. But on the flip side, if let's give some of our secrets away. So if somebody wanted to start a property management company, like we have people come to us all the time. I'm picturing a
Right.
couple people in my head. What advice would you give them if they were just starting out and they had like one or two properties? Like what advice would you tell them about transparency and how to incorporate that?
Yeah, right away, it's a great question. Right away, what comes to mind, is like you mentioned, transparency. It's ensuring that you have the right people, in the right place, and then in a team. I get asked that a lot. There's so many intricacies and different things that can go wrong in a property. How do you do it? Because you have so many things that can go wrong in a property, and I say it's the team. It's the team. So get yourself someone, that is trustworthy, that you can build with, that has your back, that if at 9, 10 p.m. something were to happen on the property, that person is going to run to the property and going to give care as much as you do, because we say that sometimes nobody, people really don't care as much as the owner, does. But if you do give yourself that care and that service and that really that big need to provide and service, and you team up with somebody that has that same feeling, you can build from that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree with you. You need the right people, right? Right
For sure.
people in the right seats. We've
There
learned
you go.
the last couple of weeks in our trainings. We need the right people in the right seats doing what they need to do. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think for anyone out there and owners of properties and you're looking to really team up, ask those questions. What views do I get? How can I track this? Do I get my own owners portal? Because there are some really good companies out there that do great things, but just
Right.
don't get caught up with some of these ones that we're starting to see are popping up a lot of places just to take, you know, your money. It's your money, right? It's your property. So just ensure that you're looking and doing your homework. Don't just go with the cheapest because sometimes, like we always say, you pay IKEA prices, you get IKEA rates. So
There you go. There
make
you
sure
go.
you're sticking with them. But shifting a little bit, there's been a lot of news in a lot of different places across the country and across the globe. But we saw it in December that New York banned short-term rentals across the city, which sent ripple effects across the city. And I wrote an article. I talked about it. I think we got into USA Today talking about it too. So that was pretty cool. Was hotels, of course, are going to win because there's less inventory. But something that no one really talked about was New Jersey took off and all their rates skyrocketed in New
Incredible.
Jersey because why? It's still legal over there. It
Exactly.
just shows you how quickly this business can turn on a dime. And so you always have to be ready and looking for what's coming up and getting involved, right? And get involved is join some associations. We got to start doing those things. So, Victor, what do you think about that when you hear this happening in cities? It could happen in our cities that we work in, right? So, what are we doing?
Yeah, so I mean, it tells me one thing for sure is if people are willing and wanting to still go into a different market because of a ban in a certain place. That tells me one thing is that short-term rental is here to stay. There's a market that we built or that has been built specifically due to short-term rental. So that shift tells me right away there's definitely an abundance in what we do, in need of what we do. So that's a great thing. Association, you touched on it, joining, local associations, joining, as we are here in Florida, we are, co-chairs of the board of Favor or Florida Alliance for Vacation Rentals. And that's where we get a lot of information and a lot of news and a lot of changes, happening into the future where we can communicate, to our owners and we could stay ahead of the game. It's really imperative and important that you know what's going to be happening or what's going to be happening, and the plans for your city so you can stay ahead.
Yeah.
And I think those are two takeaways for sure, from what I see from that.
Yeah, I think I was shocked to see like how much legislation gets proposed. Like I didn't because you never hear about it, but you see how many state senators and local governments are proposing laws that never actually make it through.
Right.
And so these are things like woke me up. It's like, whoa, like this is actually something that could get shut down in our major cities. Like Miami Beach shut it down, right? In certain zones and only allows it in certain
Exactly.
areas. And it's super
Exactly.
hard to get a license.
Right.
Miami could do that very easily if they wanted, right? And then the
Absolutely.
county could do it. And I've seen it. So if New York City could do it, it could happen anywhere. So you
Right.
really have to get on and get involved somehow, whether it's just paying a small fee to join an association, whether it's talking to people like us, asking your questions here in different platforms. It's really important because these associations are fighting for us to make sure we can still run this as an industry. Now, the
Agreed.
other people will say, we're in both worlds, hotel and vacation rentals. The hotel world will say, we got no problem with vacation rentals. We just want you to do it the right way. Get your license just like a hotel has to get the
Yeah. Totally
license.
with them.
We don't want this to be in, an apartment building where all of a sudden you have one apartment that's a party hotel room versus, a residence where kids and families live. So I think you and I are on the same page. There's some people that would hate us saying that, but do things the right way. Get your license, understand the
Absolutely.
laws, know how to start off the right way.
Absolutely.
Because if you do that, you'll set up a strong business. If you do it the other
Absolutely.
way and start running, that party house in the middle of a nice neighborhood, it gives everybody a bad name. Um, but there are people who have a whole business that way, so they wouldn't like us talking that way. But we want to do things by the book, the right way. But we can also influence these laws by joining the association, by getting involved, and see
Exactly.
like how can I help, right? How can I really make a difference? I just have a couple properties. You'd be surprised what a person with just a couple properties and some initiative can do. It really makes a difference because we see it happening.
Immediately, yeah. And that makes me think about a conference that I attended about 2-3 weeks ago, and I was in one of the seminars where they were speaking about legislation and laws. And one of the person that was in the panel, they had that happen in their city, and he basically has the playbook on how they combat it. They put together an association in their city. They put a group together to be able to work with the government, and both work in favor for each other. And he said it there, while he's standing and speaking to everyone. This has happened in my city. It can happen in your city. I have the playbook. We put together the playbook. We got it done, and this is how it works. And there's people like that out there everywhere. That's happened in their cities. So if you do see some possible change, maybe teaming up with these cities and giving them a call and say, hey, how did you do it? How did you put it together? What did you, what battles did you have to put out? What is the playbook? And show us the way, because I think it's gonna be really helpful to have that person and to have that peace of mind.
Oh, I agree with you. And so we want to get people together, especially down here in South Florida. So
Let
we
them
got to
know.
mention our event, right?
Let them know.
So we're hosting the first one here in Miami, Florida.
There you go.
And it's going to be on February 27th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And we'll probably hang out longer if we have a good crowd. It's going to be at the Yotel Hotel here in downtown Miami. And in the links below, we'll put how to register for it. But we would love to see you there because we're going to be talking about the right way to start. We're going to have some people talking about what they've done to start the right way. And if all of us are experienced, at least we're all getting together and really making sure that everyone knows that our association is growing, because it's not that big. Miami is one of the biggest Airbnb, VRBO, vacation rental cities in the world, and there's only a handful of people involved right now. And
Right.
so Victor and I don't know, we want to get people involved, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it'll be a great way to get to know the community, to get to know what favor is all about, and how we can help and how we can get involvement if in your city. And you don't have to necessarily be just from Miami. You could, if you're in
Yeah,
Broward, you can
Broward, come on
join us.
down.
Yep,
Take
come
the
on
yeah.
down. It's going to be great. It's a Yotel pad right in the middle of downtown, right by the Bayside and the Kasaya Center. So it's in great location. It's going to be fun. We're going to have,
Yeah, we'll have
very
some drinks.
cool.
We'll have we'll have a speaker. But what I will tell you too is, if you're in Broward, love to see you come down. If you're in another city, come on down. We can take the Bright Line train. It parks right
There
over
you go.
there. But also, I just want to get this industry together, because the hotel associations, which we're also a part of, is very tight, and they fight for everything that they want to go. And so vacation rentals needs to be the same way. And the only way to do that is for us to meet up, help each other, so we can all succeed. Because as the tide rises, all boats will be rising too. Like, we don't see it as like you're taking out of my mouth. We can all work together and be successful here. So
Absolutely. February 27th, Yotel pad.
yeah, February 27th, ladies and gentlemen, come on down to the Yotel. But like, also there is, well, I know we have some other groups that we're already talking to, like Casiola will be there, our friends at Casiola. I'm hoping we can get Romy over there and Mint House and some others. So I'm calling you out here already, and I'll send you a personal invite. But we'd love to see you. So, Victor, man, these shows go by quick.
Extremely. Can't
What is
believe it.
something this week in our company or in someone else's vacation rental company or in hospitality that you felt like, wow, this has been great this week?
Yeah. So specific to us, this week, we've been going and putting plans in place specifically for branding and marketing in our specific world. We want to target the right people, the right owners. We're knocking on doors, and possible boutique hotels, to see if they need of possible service and looking to do short term rental, and have our experience. So we're really looking forward to turning, a new or a better chapter in the short term rental world, and knocking on doors and seeing, who wants to work with us, and the right people in the right places, and new opportunities, new developments. So I'm excited for all of those.
I think we've got some exciting ones. And
Right.
so they're different than the normal vacation rental world. It's like a meshing of this boutique hotel with the vacation rental things that people love, just like Marriott saw, right? So we didn't see that headline before we got on the show today, but we've already been working on that for a couple of months. So
Oh yeah.
excited to bring some of this to you all. Well, Victor, that does another one of our Tangy Talks, our first live show. Thank you all for joining live. I saw a
Thank you.
couple of
Thank
you
you.
pop in here. Next time, we'll be answering your questions as well. So feel free to submit them here on our Tangy page on LinkedIn, and make sure to subscribe on our YouTube page as well, for Tangy Talks. But until next week, we will see you then.
Thank you. Have a great one. See you soon.